What's up guys, Lifting here. Today I'm going to show you an efficient way for you to farm Fabius the Unseen, an endgame Nemesis boss that can drop rare blueprints, components, legendaries and all that good jazz. And by following this route you will also gain a ton of dynamite. Fabius however won't spawn unless you have reached Nemesis Infamy with Cronley's gang. And a fair warning here, getting Cronley's gang to Nemesis Infamy does take a serious amount of farming, but fortunately the farming route I'm going to show you has both decent monster density and is filled with enemy hero spawns to ensure maximum reputation gains and some proper loot drops along the way. In case you still need to purchase Grim Dawn or any of its DLC, then please consider using my Humble Bundle link in the description. It will at no cost to you help support the channel and charity organizations around the world. Thank you. So our first goal is to reach Nemesis Infamy with Cronley's gang so that we can later unlock Fabius, the Nemesis boss. We do that by killing any of the Cronley's gang members we encounter via the route that I'm going to show you now. Regular white mobs will grant you 1 reputation, yellow mobs will give you 2, hero mobs 50 and boss mobs 125 reputation per kill. And as long as you don't have to go completely out of your way, I suggest killing any of the gang member enemies along the route that I show you. Also keep in mind that once you reach Despised and Hated with the faction, you're going to experience additional monsters spawning, which in turn will increase the amount of reputation we get per run. I'll start by showing you the route for reputation farming, and after that the slightly altered version of the one that you will be using for Nemesis farming. So, we start by taking the Rift Gate to the Arcovian foothills. From here we run towards the Staunton mine, and as I said, we of course kill any gang members along the way unless they're far out of your reach. Most of the enemies you will be farming via this route are fire, bleed or pierce based, and I highly suggest you try to cap or at least get these resistances as close to being capped as possible, otherwise you will take a lot of damage. Once inside the mine, stick to the westernmost wall and run south until you find Nicholas Balthazar and end him. Also make sure to loot any scrap piles you come across via this farm route for potential extra dynamite drops. Now run a bit further towards the south until the road splits, then go east and circle around until you have cleared the remaining gang members in this area. From here we are then going to take the Rift Gate to Old Arcovia and run north towards the Hanefi mine. Inside we're going to head south, then up through the middle and onwards onto the lower level of the cave, for then to run north until we almost reach the exit. Before leaving though, we are going to check the plateau just below, as this is one of the spots where there's always a guaranteed dynamite stick for you to pick up and quite often an enemy hero spawn too. Once you've cleared that area, head back and exit the mine to the north. Outside we're going to head west towards the pit, and if you're lucky you will find Boris there and kill him for some extra reputation and loot. If the pit is empty, we turn around and move towards the northwest. This will take us inside the Cronley's gang fortification, where there are lots of enemies to eliminate and lots of reputation to be gained. From here we're then going to clear the fortification area while moving south. Eventually we're going to reach a bridge and we're going to cross it. Once on the other side we are in a zigzag formation, first going to check the north, then move south and then finally north again until we reach the entrance to Cronley's hideout, while all along of course still killing any gang members we encounter. But we're not going to head inside the mine yet. Instead we're going to do a quick check just to the west for any remaining gang members in the area. Once you've cleared that area, you can either run into the Cronley's hideout via the mine entrance or take the Rift Gate to the area. I prefer using the Rift Gate as that is slightly faster. Inside Cronley's hideout, our goal is simply to reach the boss of the zone, Darius Cronley, and kill any gang members along the way. So we're going to start by running towards the southeast until we get to this point. Here we have the choice of continuing further into the mine or to clear the area with the shrine to the south, and generally speaking it is in my opinion not worth our time to clear the southern area. So I suggest you skip that and instead simply move further into the mine. In this zone there is a couple of areas with a wasp infestation. These monsters do not count towards getting infamy with Cronley's gang, and I suggest you stay clear of these areas if you want to be efficient with your time. So this eventually takes us up to this point where you may encounter Direni. Direni will only be here if you decided to spare him via one of the quests earlier in the game. Once we've dealt with Direni, we're going to follow the path to the north, then turn slightly towards the east to avoid another wasp infestation. We're then going to make sure to check this area up here, as this is one of the other places where there's always a guaranteed dynamite stake for us to loot. Then from here we're simply going to clear the area for remaining gang members and then head towards the area with Darius Cronley inside it. After we've killed Cronley, we're going to check the remaining area to the east for remaining gang members and then clear them out. After that, all that's left to do is to exit to the menu, start a new game with fresh monster spawns, and run this route again until you eventually reach Nemesis Infamy with Cronley's gang. Once you have reached that infamy level, Fabius the Unseen, the Nemesis boss relevant to this faction, starts to appear in certain places throughout some of the areas we ran when farming Reputation. Fabius can spawn in 4 different areas in 17 different spots. By following the route that I am now going to show you, we ensure that we cover all of those areas, and by doing so you're always guaranteed to eventually find him during a run. So the new farm route starts in Devil's Crossing. From here we will run outside the city walls to the west and keep going until we encounter the Cronley gang encampment, northwest from Devil's Crossing. Fabius has 2 potential spawn points in this zone, and by first checking in front of the storehouse and then a bit further to the northeast, we will know if he spawned here or not. If we don't find him here, however, we're going to take the Rift Gate to the Akovian foothills, but instead of going into the Staunton mine like we did when just farming Reputation, we are this time instead going to check the area north of the Rift Gate. Up here he has another 2 possible spawn locations, and they are so close to each other that as long as you check the upper, middle and lower part of this small plateau, then you're bound to find him. If he spawned here, that is. If he didn't, the next area to check is the Hennepy mine that we also ran through when farming Reputation. In here he has 3 potential spawn points, and if you simply stick to the way of clearing the area like we did when farming Reputation, we're ensuring that we cover all 3 potential spawn points as we move through it. If he didn't spawn in here, the next area we're going to check is outside the mine close to the pit where Boris also sometimes spawn. If he isn't here either, we're going to run towards the fortification to the north like we did when farming Reputation, and similarly to how we approached that, run south and eventually head over the bridge and check the area over here. As long as you clear the area like you did when you were farming Reputation, you are bound to find him here, if this is the zone where he spawned. If not, then there is only one area left to check, and since he didn't spawn in any of the other zones, that means that we're guaranteed to find him in that area then. The final area we're going to check is inside Cronley's hideout. In here he has 4 potential spawn points, and if you stick to running the route like we did when farming Reputation, you will be sure to cover all 4 areas, and you're inevitably going to find him if you haven't found him in any of the other zones already. And so this is how it's done. These are the 2 routes I recommend, one for farming Reputation and a slightly altered version of that route for when you are specifically Nemesis boss farming. It can take a few runs to get used to where and when you need to go to certain places, but within long you won't even think about it, and running the zones in this way will end up feeling completely natural to you. I also highly recommend you install the Grim Internals mod, as that will give you a warning when there is a Nemesis boss in the near vicinity of your character. This will make it much quicker to identify if you are in the right zone or if you have to go and check another area. You can check my video on 3 mods I recommend for Grim Dawn. It will be linked down in the description. Please let me know if you like this type of video and if you'd like me to create similar farm route videos for the other 5 remaining Nemesis bosses. These guys have some potentially sweet loot too, but unless you let me know in the comments, it's hard for me to tell whether you like this type of farming content or not. So yeah, please let me know and hit that like button. Thank you. Also, another quick reminder, in case you still need to purchase Grim Dawn or any of its DLC, please consider using my Humble Bundle link. It will at no cost to you support the channel. Thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button for more Grim Dawn content. Thank you for watching, and bros, do you even nerd?